Welcome, my name is Andy. I am not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, so I'm not giving any advice in that direction. I encourage you that if you have concerns about your own erectile function, that you do talk to your doctor, you talk to a therapist, you talk to whomever you have to move you further down the road toward health. But I am telling you right now just about my own personal experience with erectile dysfunction. And it happened about 7 years ago. I want to give you some of the things that led up to it, some of the steps I took to move what I feel was in a healthy direction. And I'll start by saying, when your erections are not functioning at the level that you feel like they should, it really gets into your mind, starts messing with you. If your erections are great, you probably don't even think about it, right? But when it starts to slip and you start to think that's not as good as it used to be, it starts swirling around in your mind, and sometimes it's really all you can think about. Even if it's for brief moments, it becomes, just all-consuming in the thought process. That's what it was for me. And I can say that, but I also can say that there were times when that would happen and I would just put it off. I'd be like, just push that to the back of my mind and not think about it. And rather than take the steps to get healthier and understand where it was coming from, I would just kind of push it aside and kind of kick myself when I was down emotionally and be like, let's just not deal with this right now. I had gone to the dentist, of all places, and was getting my teeth cleaned, and it was the dental hygienist who said, let's do a blood pressure check. Now, I have never had a blood pressure check at the dentist's office, but of course she attached the machine to me, and I don't know if I heard this, but I'm pretty sure I heard her say, "Oh my." And she showed me the numbers, and they were off the charts high. And I said, well, it's got to be in the machine. I feel great. So she went and got another machine, did the same test, same numbers. They were numbers high enough that she thought and said to me, I don't know if we can just let you leave. They were that high. Now, I convinced them to finally let me leave, and I got home and I felt fine. But it was sort of an indicator to me. Erectile dysfunction, high blood pressure. Let's take the leap and go see the doctor. So I set the appointment, went and saw my doctor. And when you go to the doctor's office, first there's a nurse or a medical assistant who comes in and kind of gets those vitals and gathers the information and always asks the question, well, what brings you here today? And I simply said, I'm here for my annual checkup. It had been 3 years since I'd been there, but it was my annual checkup in my mind. And it wasn't until my doctor came in the room that I was completely honest. And I said, listen, high blood pressure, but I'm really here to talk about my erectile function. And she asked me some questions about lifestyle. Do you smoke? No, I don't smoke. Do you drink? I wasn't completely honest about drinking, but I did drink at the time. What about eating? What about exercise? And she kind of just gathered some information. And she said, before she prescribed any medication or any treatment options, she said, let's run some tests. So we did all the blood work tests and got those results back a few days later. And it revealed a lot of things to me. A lot of things that said to me I was not living the kind of life that was ensuring long-term health. Whether it was the food, the exercise, alcohol, a lot of those factors were coming into play. And certainly, I can't help but believe that they were affecting my ability to achieve and maintain a strong erection. A lot of factors that I had to take a hard look at how I was living the rest of my life. And maybe at that point, erectile function might be the least of my concerns. Let's take care of the heart, let's take care of the body, and start to get healthy. And it raises the question for me that I want you to consider, and that is, why do we put it off so long? Why do we avoid going to our doctor and asking those questions, and that doctor asking questions of us and getting some results and see, are we really being healthy? Are we really treating a symptom of what might be deeper within us? Now, why do you suppose men avoid talking about their own erectile dysfunction? Perhaps a variety of reasons, and we're all different, but for some, it is that stigma or embarrassment that comes with sexual health issues, including erectile dysfunction. We feel perhaps embarrassed or emasculated. We fear judgment or negative reactions from others. But there's also cultural or social expectations around masculinity, and it can contribute to the reluctance on our part to discuss erectile dysfunction. We feel pressured to conform to traditional notions of male virility and may see ED as a threat to our own self-image. There's also that fear of strain in the relationship
We worry that if we discuss our own erectile dysfunction, it could cause some stress. They fear that our partner would be disappointed, feel unattractive, or even blame themselves for the issue. And I think for some men, there is a lack of awareness or understanding of the causes of erectile dysfunction, which leads to a sense of confusion, a sense of helplessness. And then there's the fact that this is a very personal and private matter. So there are probably limits for a lot of guys in terms of how much they'll talk about and be open about it. And I think the most important thing here is to recognize that even if you don't talk openly and your friends don't talk openly about it, doesn't mean that you are the only one in the world who is struggling with erectile function. And then there is that final factor, and one of the main reasons why I made this video today is that our erectile dysfunction can sometimes be an early indicator of underlying health issues, such as cardiovascular problems or diabetes, and we may avoid discussing the erectile dysfunction out of fear that it could be pointing to some of those other deeper challenges that we're going to have to face.
In some ways, I am grateful that I struggled with erectile function for a period of time, because it helped me understand some of the underlying causes potentially for me. And I had to address those, and it helped me turn some things around in terms of lifestyle, in terms of diet and exercise, and I feel so much better now. If I had avoided that, if I'd just gotten so bogged down with the erectile dysfunction and just paid attention to that, would I've ever discovered some of these other things I needed to take care of? I'm happy that I discovered those things sooner than later. Now, I don't know what your experience is, and I don't know if you are starting to see signs of erectile dysfunction and you're not dealing with that, but it becomes all consuming. Are you going to your doctor? Are you being open and honest with your doctor and saying, here's what I'm dealing with, how can you help me? And is your doctor saying to you, all right, let me ask you some questions, let's run some tests, let's find the potential cause of this. So when we here at Timm Medical Technologies, one of the reasons I love the company is because we are about men's sexual health. But we're also about men's overall health and how erectile dysfunction may be a factor in a man's overall health. It may also be an indicator of some other things that you've got to pay attention to. So I'm encouraging you to do that. Again, not medical advice from me. It's just guy-to-guy advice. Be smart, be healthy. If you have questions that we can help along the lines of vacuum erection device therapy, the VenoSeal, any of those things, you can write us at education@timmedical.com. If you have health questions, call your doctor. Get in there and start getting some answers to those questions. And it may mean some lifestyle choices for you, but wouldn't you rather know that now than know that 10 years from now?